Well, the Great Land Grab, of course, is a reference to the ENN Railway. At the time of Confederation, when British Columbia was making the decision to be part of Canada and to join the rest of Canada, the railway was a major concern because British Columbia wanted to be connected to the rest of Canada. 2 million acres of land on the east coast of Vancouver Island became the land grant that was used to pay to build a railway from Nanaimo to Victoria. That was the way that the British Columbia government was able to finance the deal. And so, the Great Land Grab, as we've called it, was really, a railway corporation able to get 100% fee simple ownership to a very large portion of Vancouver Island, the largest piece of private land in the province of British Columbia, to gain all of the rights, all of the mineral rights, all of the land rights to the trees and to the land. And it simply passed from one corporate ownership to the next ever since then. We've had some discussions with Island Timberlands. It's been very superficial up to this point. The position basically is these are our lands, they belong to us in private ownership. And your issue is with the government of Canada, not with us. And we don't have any obligation to consult with you or to involve you in any of our planning processes. So that's been basically the type of relationship it's been up to this point. The government of Canada, the government of British Columbia are not going to expropriate lands from private citizens for the settlement of treaties. Now, how does that affect Hulkaminum when 85% of our territory has been, effectively confiscated by the government and given to these corporate entities, and now the government of Canada says, well, sorry, but we're not going to do anything about it. We believe that the corporations have made significant amounts of money off the resources from this territory, but the Hulkaminum nations continue to be some of the poorest people in this area. So, it's been a very difficult relationship, very confrontational, and just we cannot seem to get anywhere in these discussions with government. And so we did file a petition with the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights in Washington, D.C. And Canada objected. They said, well, Hulkaminum, you haven't gone to court in Canada. You haven't exhausted your domestic remedies. And so we argued in front of the Inter-American Commission that, that one of the criteria to exempt us from that requirement to exhaust our domestic remedies was that there was in effect no effective domestic remedies. And we argued that, well, there's been no Canadian court that has ever recognized Indigenous people's right to property. The Inter-American Commission agreed with us and said, in fact, they agreed that, that they were satisfied that there were no effective domestic remedies in Canada, which was, I think, a very significant decision, that Canadians, probably don't really understand the gravity of that kind of a statement. Here is an international body of human rights experts who say that in Canada, there's a situation that exists where there's a group of people whose human rights cannot be effectively dealt with within the existing legal and political structures that exist here. The privatization has resulted in the fact that Hulkaminum people cannot practice their culture. They cannot keep that cultural identity going because of just the losses that they've sustained. How can you teach your children how to build a canoe out of these big cedar trees when they're no longer cedar trees? How can you teach your children how to do all these medicines if they don't exist any longer? So that's the loss that the Inter-American Commission is considering.